Hey guys, my name's Abby. I am the founder of ACH Events and Grow Group, and I wanted to come on here today to talk all things ACH Events, kind of what we're working on and where we're headed. And one of the biggest things that I want to talk about today is the full wedding planning concept. So, you know, a lot of us in the industry, we do a lot of different services. We can do coordinating, partial planning, full wedding planning. And today I really want to just talk about the importance of full wedding planning and why you should hire a planner. You know, a lot of people, I think when they're getting married, they don't know where to start. They don't know what the first thing to do is. And that is where a full wedding planner comes into play. We are someone who is an advocate for you as the client, and we are there to make sure that you get the best vendors, that your dream and ideas that you have all actually come together in a cohesive plan and design. And then we take all of that and we really implement an impeccable timeline and just really make sure that the flow of the events throughout the day go really well. And even sometimes for the weekend is what we can do with full wedding planning. And it's something that we provide that caters specifically to you, the client. And we can help you in a lot of different areas throughout the planning process. So the first thing I want to start with is by telling you guys what a wedding planner is and what full wedding planning is. So a wedding planner is someone who is with you from the very beginning. You get engaged, or maybe you're not even engaged yet. Maybe your soon-to-be fiance needs help with the engagement planning process. That is where a full wedding planner comes into play. We are there to walk beside you through the entire venue selection process. We guide you on which venues to go look at, what would be in your budget, what would be in your style. And you know, one of the biggest decisions is picking a venue, because that's really the shell of the entire event. And if the shell doesn't fit the budget and doesn't fit the design and the environment, then really, you know, you've kind of started off on the wrong foot. And then it's kind of backtracking from there to try to recreate something that you wanted when the venue isn't really playing in the best that it could. So we are there from the beginning. We make sure that as you go through the vendor selection process, you're selecting the vendors that not only work with your budget, but work with your style. You know, there's a million different photographers out there that have the light and airy style, or the dark and moody, or the lifestyle, or the storytelling style. And you have to know what style is yours. You can't book a light and airy photographer and expect dark and moody, right? So we're there to help guide you. How many hours do you need that photographer or videographer for? We're there to help you make that decision and you know, guide you on whether or not to book 8 hours or the package that is 10 hours. You know, moving through the music selections. Do we go DJ? Do we go band? Do we have a DJ? And then do we have ceremony music and live music for cocktail hour? You know, these are all massive decisions that all really create the entire experience for your guests and for you at your wedding. So we are there throughout the entire process. And one of the most important things that we do is help you create a budget, stick with it, and really make sure that you're getting like the most out of your budget, right? Strategy is super important, which is not what a lot of people talk about when it comes to weddings, but there is a huge strategy that goes on with planning a wedding. And you may, you know, allocate $6,000 for a photographer, but maybe you only come in at $5,500 for your photographer. That leaves you $500 to do something with. What's something cool that we can add and reallocate that money for that budget with? And that's what we are able to do and help you with along the planning process, if we are there to help you. Okay, so let's talk why. Why should you hire a wedding planner? And I think all vendors can speak for this when I say that a vendor loves to work with a wedding planner over having to work directly with the client. And it's not because they don't like you, it's because when it's coming down to the details and they're trying to figure out all the last minute things right before the wedding, the last thing they want to do is reach out to the client who's about to get married. The best thing that they can do is be able to have a wedding planner who is there, that can be the point of contact, that knows the entire plan for the day and for the weekend, and can reach out and ask those questions and delegate those questions to the wedding planner and not to the parents and not to the client, because then they're having to bother you with things that you really honestly, weeks leading up to your wedding, shouldn't be bothered with. So that's one reason. Another reason is we can help you vet out the vendors in a much faster timing. So say you're looking at 5 different photographers. You've got different packages you're trying to decide. We can come in, look at all of those, have experience with most of them, give our 2 cents on the different styles and the different ways they work, and be able to guide you on which one to pick, rather than having to sit down and have a meeting with every single one of them. And maybe we can help you narrow it down to 2, and then you go and have a meeting with those 2, see if you like those people, and then you pick one that you really mesh well the best with. And we can do that with every process. Talking about caterers, oh my gosh, there's so much that goes into catering. And then do you hire the caterers to do the bartending, or do you have the bartenders do their own thing and pick a different company for that? Those are all things that we can take those like big scary concepts and push them all down together into a couple few decisions that we can guide you on. So that's why you should hire a planner. We make it so much easier for you guys. We tune out all of the noise for you so that you can really focus on what you're trying to create. Okay, so something else that, I think as you plan your wedding, you're not really aware that goes on, but vendors have relationships, and you see your venue's preferred vendors, and maybe your planner's preferred vendors, and maybe the photographer has a few people they recommend. And there's a reason why they have those lists. Those lists are the people that they've built relationships with, that they know they can trust, that they know will show up to the day and provide an amazing service. And not even just the day, but leading up to it, making sure that the whole process when they're working and planning out all of the logistics with them is smooth. And something super unique about a wedding planner, and especially a full wedding planner, is they have those relationships all across the board. And it's not just with a caterer or with a photographer or with a videographer or with a band or with a DJ. We have relationships with everyone. So say you want a photo booth. Well, I have 3 photo booth companies I can tell you about right off the top of my head, and I can tell you their different prices, and I can tell you all of the different stuff that they offer. And I can tell you exactly what would fit into your budget and what would be your style. Boom, right there. I can give it to you in about 20 seconds. Right? So that is the luxury that you have from hiring a wedding planner who knows the industry, who knows the market, who knows the vendors, because they can really hone in on where you need to go and where you need to be directed. And not only that, but get you the best pricing and help you with your budget, right? They know the ins and outs of certain things you should pay for and shouldn't pay for. So if you're allocating a certain percentage of your budget to florals, okay, what are things that we can not do that doesn't really add a lot to the visual of the event, but what can we add that is maybe a bigger cost but adds so much more visually to the design? And that's where having experience in seeing a million different concepts and design options in person, I can help put all those pieces together to get the most out of that budget that you have for your florals. So what else can full wedding planners do? They can fight for your vision, right? So you're a bride, you've just got engaged, you're scrolling through Pinterest and you're trying to find, okay, I like these colors, I like this style, I like these color bridesmaids dresses, all the guys look so cute in this tux, and you're trying to go through and figure out all that you want. And it can be extremely overwhelming. Do I go down to Houston to get my wedding dress? Do I stay in Austin? Do I want to actually stay in Austin and do a wedding here? Do I want to do a destination? And these are all things that are part of your vision that you create for your wedding day. And we fight for that. So a lot of times vendors have their packages. They say you can book this, this, this. And what you don't know is that a lot of times we can help communicate with those vendors on creating a package that's unique to you. And we have those relationships and the ability to have those conversations with the vendors where someone who hasn't done this process before may not be able to have those conversations and feel comfortable asking, hey, could you accommodate this or could you accommodate that? So we are there to talk to each vendor, and we're there to fight for your vision, to make sure that all of the ideas that you have on your mood board really come to life, and to make sure that that day and that weekend is an amazing experience, not only for you, but for your entire guest. list. Everyone that comes to the wedding, that's experiencing that weekend with you and celebrating, they deserve to be a part of that experience. And a lot of people put a lot of money into this, and it's not something to shed lightly on, right? Like, if there is one place that you should really allocate some money in your budget to, it is to a planner, so that they can fight for you and fight for your vision and really show you how you can best spend your money planning your wedding. All right, I'm really getting in on this one, and I really want to tell you guys about this last thing that maybe some of you don't think about. Okay, so imagine it's your maybe week before the wedding, and a photographer calls, and they've had a death in the family, or there's some forsaken reason that they can't be at your wedding. What do? If you don't have a planner, you've got nothing. You've got no one to help you. You're out on a ledge. You're trying to figure it out a week before it's wedding season. Everyone's booked. There's a million things that you've got to figure out, and you don't have someone advocating for you. Well, that's where we pull in those favors. We call that photographer that we know isn't booked, and we say, hey, I know that you're planning on doing this weekend, but I have a client, and I'd really appreciate it if you could, put those plans aside and come in clutch and really be there for my client. And they do it, and they do it for us because we have those relationships, and they know in the future we'll take care of them. And so, when those things happen, we are there to step in and honestly make anything that's a hiccup as smooth as possible. And one of the things at ACH Events that we really truly believe is that weddings really can be perfect. That there doesn't have to be the hiccups, and it doesn't have to be the infamous crazy story of something happening, right? It doesn't have to be that way if you have someone on your side who is making sure that everything is taken care of. And if there are hiccups, taking care of them for you, and you may not even ever know they existed. So that is why at the end of the day, the biggest value that you can get out of a wedding planner is the insurance, right? The insurance that you are going to be taken care of. And if you need a favor from a vendor that you've hired, or maybe one that you need to hire last minute, they can make that happen. And not everyone can do that. So I know now you're thinking, okay, you've told me all of a million reasons why I should hire a wedding planner, and a full wedding planner at that, and why I should invest 10 to 20% of my budget to a wedding planner. But what if I don't want to do that? How does that work? Well, let me put some things in perspective for you. On anywhere between a $50,000 to $100,000 wedding, you might spend anywhere between $6,000 and $8,000 on your photographer. Okay, they're there to document the entire day. Those are pictures that you'll have for the rest of your life. It makes sense to spend a lot of money on that person, doesn't it? They're in charge of that photography and that job for the day, and they're gonna do it well, and they're gonna make those photos get edited and they look flawless, okay? Then you go and you spend anywhere, depending on your guest count, and catering can get crazy, but anywhere between as minimal as $10,000 to upwards of $25,000 on catering. And you look at that and you're like, man, that's just so much spent on food and feeding people. But you have to think about how much logistics go into getting food brought in that's high quality, that tastes good, that caters to all of your guest dietary restrictions, right? Not everyone can do that as a catering company and do it well and provide good options. So, you're delegating all of this large amounts of your budget to these individual vendors. And people have the hardest time delegating that much to the person who's gonna put it all together and give you all the pieces and literally give you the guide and all of the to-dos and the budgeting to make it happen. And why wouldn't you spend a good portion of your money making sure that you have that person? So when you kind of sit back and you think about it, okay, this person's in charge of finding all my vendors, playing with my budget and making sure that I have everything allocated to the right place. This person's in charge of making sure that the timeline is seamless, that everything flows logistically. But I'm only gonna pay them about 0.5% of my entire budget. That just doesn't make sense. You're willing to pay all of these other percentages for all these other vendors, and you absolutely should really look at using a large percentage of your budget to pay for a wedding planner. That money will be the best spent money that you will ever allocate in your budget, and I can promise you that. So I'll end the video with this. We are here to be your right hand, man or woman, and we are here to make sure that your wedding day is flawless, because it can be and it deserves to be. Okay, so when you are deciding on where to start with the wedding planning process, we ask that you come to us first. And if you're not sure on how to spend that money and where to allocate it to and who to book, we can help. We can help. We have consultation meetings that we do if you really just want to see if you can do this on your own and you feel like you're a bride that has a lot of event experience. Sit down with us and spend a couple hours with us and really just allow us to guide you through the process and tell you all of the to-dos and really show you some different vendors that would work well for you. And if you're someone that's like, hey, you know what, I hear what you're saying and I really understand why I need to make this decision, let's do it, let's talk, let's meet, let's make sure we're a good fit, and then let us help you guide you through your entire planning process and make it so fun and so exciting and so stress-free, because, right, like who doesn't want that? So I hope you guys enjoyed this informational video. We are here at ACH Events to help make the wedding planning process seamless, stress-free, and great for the clients, and we hope that we can provide that for you. Go out and have a great day, and happy wedding planning!